News on Arsenal's transfer as the rise in prominence of Benjamin Sesko at RB Leipzig raises serious concerns for the Gunners as they attempt to finalize a deal. Benjamin Sesko failed to live up to the fanfare surrounding his January 19, 2024, transfer from Red Bull-owned Salzburg to Leipzig. In 15 Bundesliga appearances, he had only scored in 2 different games and managed just 3 goals overall, although starting 5 times. He was struggling to live up to the hype that had already surrounded him as one of the world's top young forwards, having moved for just over £20 million last year. The previous year, in 30 Austrian Bundesliga games, he had garnered attention with 16 goals and 4 assists. He made a name for himself as a teenager by scoring 21 goals in 29 games for FC Liefering in the Austrian second tier. It is not always a straight route to the top, as is only normal for players at the beginning of their senior year. He returned to the discourse as an elite prospect with a run of 11 goals in 16 games between January 20 and May 18. He only failed to score a goal or provide an assist 3 times during that time. He has scored in all 7 of the last 7 games in the last 6 weeks. Leipzig lost the only 2 games this season when he scored. After just 17 starts, he finished his first Bundesliga season with 14 goals and 2 assists. In the German Cup, he also handled 2, and in the Champions League, 2 more. Ultimately, this resulted in his 2023-24 campaign average of 1 goal every 109 minutes, and an assist every 95 minutes. His release clause increased from a meager £43 million to a substantial £55 million as a result of his performances. So far, it hasn't deterred Arsenal. He will now undoubtedly be at the centre of one of the summer's great tales. Although Kai Havertz had a good finish, it's still unclear how much of a conventional choice he is. Edin Nketiah, 5 league goals, including 3 in a single game, and Gabriel Jesus, 4 league goals despite a season marred by injuries, are also questioning their futures with the squad. Sesko is the man they want for £55 million. Regretfully, a year ago, they could have signed him for a significantly lower fee if they had seen his potential. Prior to his transfer to Leipzig, Chelsea had been keeping an eye on him during the summer. At the time, Transfermarkt rated him at just over £20 million, which is also the price he ultimately went for. However, as he acquired expertise and became a more valuable member, that number rocketed up quickly. Sesko saw a rise in his market value to nearly £26 million by October, even in the absence of the goals he ultimately scored. That was ahead of £35 million in March. He is now valued at £43 million, which was his prior release clause, for the remainder of the season. But it is nothing compared to where he is at the CIES Football Observatory. According to the analytical website, his actual worth is actually £88.1 million. That is higher than Declan Rice, an Arsenal teammate, Alexander Isak, a transfer target, Nicholas Jackson of Chelsea, Gavi from Barcelona, Marcus Rashford, Lautaro Martinez, Evan Ferguson, long-term option Dusan Vlahovic, Ollie Watkins, Victor Gyökeres, and more. A solution for the present £55 million release clause demand was to be reached. It may prove to be a prudent investment, but it also demonstrates how quickly a player's worth may increase. The difference between the player there now and what he was valued at a year ago is a whopping £66 million. Arsenal might have had a top-tier striker waiting in the wings for a bargain price if they had taken a chance on Sesko last season and developed him under Arteta. As it stands, they will now need to spend more to keep up with the buzz and form. But there's a catch to this as well. Seko's sprint finish was amazing, but the underlying stats suggest that previous season's non-penalty XG overperformance was more significant. Sesko essentially scored 6 goals more than one may have predicted given